Today we're going to talk about South Asia. Now, South Asia is right here, also known as India or the Asian subcontinent. And South Asia, you can see there's not really a color in, but it's actually part of the Islamic Empire, the outline of the Islamic Empire, because Muslims have control over this region for most of its history during the post-classical period. Now, before the Muslims take over, there was one Indian king named King Harsha who unites local Kshatriyas after the fall of the Gupta dynasty. And King Harsha was really known for looking after his people's needs. He built roads to increase trade. He built hospitals to serve the people that were injured. And the hospitals were really advanced. The Indians had highly advanced medical systems. Over 1,000 diseases, or over 500 diseases were known. Over 1,000 different medicines for treatments. He also built a lot of temples for Hindus and for Buddhists. He also tried to end this tension between Buddhism and Hinduism. Hinduism really didn't like Buddhism that much because Buddhism kind of spoke out against a lot of Hindu beliefs. But he tried to ease that tension between them, whereas during the Gupta dynasty, Hindus had been persecuting Buddhists. And that helped caused Buddhism to spread to other places. But he actually started a brief golden age during his reign, and he didn't have all of India, but he had the northern section of it under his control, which had a brief golden age. But the Muslims come in and basically attack. They realized how advanced South Asia was, and so they wanted to have control of that. So from the 1700s to the 1100s, the Islamic Empire slowly creeped in and conquered more and more land. Now, as they conquered India, they set up a new government in the city of Delhi, which they called the Delhi Sultanate. And this is based because it's the capital city's in Delhi, and they have sultans, which are Muslim kings in India. Now, these Muslims were offended by Hinduism because it was polytheistic. Because they do all these things that are sort of, because people aren't equal, they do all these things that are not okay within Islam. But they weren't really concerned with spreading their religion. They were more concerned with gaining wealth and power. And one of the reasons that they didn't want to convert them is because they could tax a non-Muslim more. So if the Hindus and Buddhists remained Hindu and Buddhist, they could tax them more. So they weren't really concerned with spreading the religion. Although a lot of people did convert, but it's not because the Delhi Sultanate government, it's because of Sufi Muslims. They came in and they weren't political at all, but they often sort of mix some of the ideas of Hinduism and Buddhism together because they're they believe in a lot of freedom of religious practices. And they won a lot of converts, especially in the lower classes. Now, Hinduism, because people were converting to Islam, Hinduism had to change, just like it had to change when Buddhism started spreading. And so basically they made life easier on the lower caste systems. Because Islam promoted equality, these lower castes were like, well, we'll just be Muslim. And so they had to make life easier for those lower castes. The Delhi Sultanate and the Islamic Empire together both really controlled Indian Ocean trade, below South Asia in the Indian Ocean. And they did this with a couple of inventions. One, the astrolabe and the sextant. These were navigational tools that could help them figure out where they're at in the ocean based on the stars. So they could be out in the middle of the ocean and know where they're at and which direction they're going. Before that, they might get turned around and head in the opposite direction. They also had dhow ships, as you can see here, and these had lantine sails, these triangular sails, that could move quite quickly and be safe traveling vast distances through the ocean. And one of the things that they had to develop to be able to travel safely was knowledge of seasonal storms. In the Indian Ocean, there are big, huge monsoons which come in, and they had to be able to figure out when they were happening and when they were occurring so that they wouldn't get caught up in a storm out in the middle of the ocean. But this Indian Ocean trade is going to make the Islamic Empire, the Delhi Sultanate, very rich because they're going to start to control trade. And this is going to be a lot easier to trade on the ocean than carrying it over the Silk Roads. So they're going to gain a lot of money through this. But that is basically South Asia.